Well, thank you so much, Facebook, for hosting this, first of all. My name is Barack Obama, and I'm the guy who got Mark to wear a jacket and tie. Thank you. I'm very proud of that.
Second time.
I know. And in fact, if you'd like, Mark, we can take our jackets off. Okay.
No, that's good.
Whew, that's better, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're a lot better at this stuff than me.
So, first of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you for taking the time, not only people who are here in the audience, but also folks all over the country and some around the world who are watching this town hall. The main reason we wanted to do this is, first of all, because more and more people, especially young people, are getting their information through different media. And obviously, what all of you have built together is helping to revolutionize how people get information, how they process information, how they're connecting with each other. And, historically, part of what makes for a healthy democracy, what is a good politics, is when you've got citizens who are informed, who are engaged, and what Facebook allows us to do is make sure this isn't just a one-way conversation.
All right, so we have a question from the Mendez and Elisa Rectanas are participating in one of those roundtables, and they want to ask you this. Mr. President, in your deficit reduction speech last week, you spoke of the need to not only reduce government spending, but to also increase federal revenue. In light of our nation's budget challenges, will your administration consider revisiting policies such as the DREAM Act, which the Congressional Budget Office estimates will reduce the deficit by $1.4 billion and increase the government revenue by $2.3 billion over the next 10 years?
Let me talk about not only the DREAM Act, but about immigration policy generally. And I want to thank Sheryl Sandberg, actually participated in a discussion that we had yesterday, bringing together business leaders and government officials and faith leaders, a broad cross-section of Americans together to talk about how do we finally fix an immigration system that's fundamentally broken. For those of you who aren't familiar, the DREAM Act deals with a particular portion of the population, kids who were brought here when they were young by their parents. Their parents might have come here illegally. The kids didn't do anything. They were just doing what kids do, which is follow their parents. They've grown up as Americans. They went to school with us or with our kids. They think of themselves as Americans, but many of them still don't have a legal status. And so what we've said is, especially for these young people, who are our neighbors, our friends, our children's friends, if they are of good character and going to school or joining our military, they want to be part of the American family, why wouldn't we want to embrace them? Why wouldn't we want to make sure that they're contributing to our future? So that's the DREAM Act, but that's just a small part of a broader challenge that we have. Immigration in this country has always been complicated. The truth of the matter is that we are both a nation of immigrants and a nation of laws. Sometimes the laws haven't been fair. Sometimes the laws have been restrictive to certain ethnic groups. There have been quotas. Sometimes our immigration policies have been arbitrary and have been determined by whether industry at a particular time was willing to bring in workers on the cheap. But what's undeniable is America is a nation of immigrants. That's our history, and that's what makes us stronger, because we've got ambitious people from all around the world who come here because they've got a new idea, and they want to create the next big thing, or they just want a better future for their kids and their family. And that dynamism is part of what's propelled our progress and kept us young. Now, I think most Americans understand that, and most Americans agree with that. At the same time, I think most Americans feel there should be an orderly process to do it. People shouldn't just be coming here and cutting in front of the line, essentially, and staying without having gone through the proper channels. So what we've said is, let's fix the whole system. First of all, let's make the legal immigration system more fair than it is and more efficient than it is. And that includes, by the way, something I know that is of great concern here in Silicon Valley. If we've got smart people who want to come here and start businesses and are PhDs in math and science and computer science, and why don't we want them to stay? I mean, why would we want to send them someplace else? So, you know, those are potential job creators. Those are job generators. You know, I think about somebody like an Andy Grove of Intel. You know, we want more Andy Groves here in the United States. We don't want them starting companies. We don't want them starting Intel in China or starting it in France. We want them starting it here. So there's a lot that we can do for making sure that high-skilled immigrants who come here, study, we've paid for their college degrees, we've given them scholarships, we've given them this training. Let's make sure that if they want to reinvest and make their future here in America, that they can. So that's point number one. But point number two is you also have a lot of unskilled workers who are now here who are living in the shadows. They're contributing to our economy in all sorts of ways. They're working in the agricultural sector. They are in restaurants, and they're in communities all across the country looking after children and helping to build America. But they're scared, and they feel as if they're locked out of their surroundings. And what I've said is, they did break the law, they came here, they have to take responsibility for that. They should pay a fine, they should learn English, they should go to the back of the line so that they don't automatically get citizenship. But there should be a pathway for them to get legalized in our society so they don't fear for themselves or their families, so that families aren't separated. At the same time, let's make sure we've got a secure border so that folks aren't wandering through the desert to get here. Let's make the legal immigration system more efficient and more effective so there aren't huge backlogs. This is all part of what we call comprehensive immigration reform. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to achieve a system that is fair, is equitable, is an economic engine for America, that helps the people who are already here get acculturated and make sure that our laws aren't being broken, but we're still true to our traditions. But as I mentioned to Cheryl yesterday, I can't solve this problem by myself. Nancy Pelosi is a big champion of this. The Democratic caucus in the House, I think, is prepared, for a majority of them, are prepared to advance comprehensive immigration reform, but we're going to have bipartisan support in order to make it happen. And all of you have to make sure your voices are heard, saying this is a priority, this is something important, because if politicians don't hear from you, then it probably won't happen. I can't do it by myself. We're going to have to change laws in Congress, but I'm confident we can make it happen. Behind it, if you put the same energy and imagination that you put into Facebook, into the political process, I guarantee you there's nothing we can't solve. All right? Thank you, Mark.